Hey everyone, Shanos here. Welcome to this section. So I just want to congratulate you from graduating from the beginner stages of Python. This is really exciting because now you're going to actually get into more complex and more interesting Python subjects. So before you start this section, make sure you understand everything we've talked about so far in the beginner section so you have a good understanding of Python, because in this section, what we're going to talk about is object-oriented programming. Now, as you can see, we're getting to a little bit more complicated things. And if you remember in the past few sections, even the beginner section, as we were doing these projects, one of the things that you might have realized is that we've been doing more complex projects. And, when you actually do these complex projects, one of the things that you can end up having is that you can end up having a very complex code and maybe a really long one or even a complicated short one. But the problem is that this code could have, hundreds of different relations. For example, one function is calling a certain variable or something like that. It's just like all these codes are basically connected. Your code is connected to different portion of the code, and it becomes really complex. And imagine you're working on a huge project, and this managing these different variables, different functions, different things, it can be really challenging. So what we're going to talk about in this section is object-oriented programming, which is designed to make it easier for you to create functions and different certain features in your code without actually making your code complicated. It's a really powerful thing, but more importantly, it can get a little bit confusing and it can get a little bit hard. So I want you to make sure that you pay attention and make sure you take notes, and always reach out to me if you have any questions. So let's get started. This is our first section in the intermediate Python training, and it's going to be really exciting because this is essentially what is going to get us into more complex and more interesting Python subjects and going to make you a better programmer. All right, so I'm really excited, and let's get started and let's talk about Python's object-oriented programming.